Chopper and Katakuri, two absolute monsters. Both shunned by their own families because of their apparent differences, but at the same time hold power greater than all of them. But what would happen if these two monsters came to blows? Well, in today's video, that's exactly what we'll find out. What's up guys, Restless Gambler here. And in today's video, I decided I should talk about a very contentious debate. With it being a new month, I really thought I should talk about Katakuri more. So the question at hand is, what would happen if the doctor of the notorious Straw Hats went against the biggest bro of the Big Mom Pirates? So like always, make sure to like, subscribe, and watch until the end. Chopper is a very interesting person to scale in the world of One Piece. I say this mostly because he's one of the most versatile Straw Hats. I mean, he has many transformations at his disposal, each giving him a power-up in a specific area or whatnot. Now, obviously, going through scaling pre-time skip or even post-time skip all the way to Whole Cake Island would just be deemed illogical, as we already know those versions of Chopper don't stack up against the mighty force he's going against today. So, we'll start scaling him in Wano. In strength, my boy Chopper is severely underrated. Chopper, after saving some of the Beast Pirate troops and Samurai from the deadly ice virus Queen let off, Marco holds Queen in place. In response to the numerous name drops of being called a Tanuki, Chopper enters monster form and slaps Queen with a non-named attack. This attack not only made Queen bleed out buckets and yell out, but also made everyone in the vicinity sweat and say sorry in reaction to it. Mind you, Marco is one of them. Yes, this same Marco who can literally take Yasakani's sacred jewels and Kaido's blast breath. This Marco is visibly shocked, sweating, and scared of the might of Chopper. It's almost as to say, I really don't want to get on his bad side. And let me say this again. This is a non-named attack. Let's put this into perspective, okay? Right before this in chapter 1006, Marco hits Queen with Phoenix Brand, a named attack. This was described as some sort of shockwave, dealing internal damage and making Queen bleed out buckets. Keep that in mind, okay? Chapter 1015, Sanji turns Queen into a helicopter and there's no blood. And this is a kick to the face, just like this is a slap, so what's going on? Chapter 1017, Queen is about to let off a light beam and Sanji kicks him in the face. No blood. Chapter 1022, Sanji kicks Queen, in hybrid form by the way, so zone form could be more durable, and Queen finally bleeds. Chapter 1028, Sanji literally microwaves Queen's insides. So this is clearly internal damage, just like Marco's. And no blood. Alright, let's go over this again. Chopper's unnamed slap made Queen bleed out buckets. Sanji, using two different named attacks, couldn't even make Queen bleed. So it's very clear that Chopper's base attacks are superior to pre-awakened Sanji's attacks and on the same level as Marco's named attacks. I mean, not to mention, Chopper got out of this attack and Sanji couldn't. Anyways, Chopper's strength is incredible and people should stop underrating him. But speaking of underrated, we can talk about Chopper's speed. Let's go again back to chapter 1007. Hyogoro is about to get beheaded and Chopper, out of nowhere, pulls up and stops the blade. Now, let's get this straight. Queen and Marco are both in the vicinity. Both of them have observation haki and Marco is a speedster himself, being able to blitz Queen. Chopper, in brain points, literal brain points, has pulled up without anyone noticing and stopped a blade before anyone could realize Chopper was there. So in turn, there are two possibilities we can go for here. Possibility A. Chopper is so fast, he perception blitzed Marco and Queen in his brain point form, something that can easily be buffed by his other forms. And possibility B, a personal theory of mine, is that Chopper can turn off other people's observation haki. I say this because not only did he bypass both Marco and Queen's observation haki, early in the chapter, Queen couldn't even sense Chopper in the cave where he was developing a medical nuke. I mean, clearly, this is the work of an observation haki cancellation. But since I can't really come to a proper conclusion, we'll have two battles at the end where we talk about both versions of Chopper. In durability, Chopper is crazy. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about stuff before Wano, but this has to be referenced. Back in Whole Cake Island around chapter 888, Chopper uses his transformation by the name of Guard Point, which turned him into a huge ass ball of pubes. He was so durable here that he literally blocked an attack from Big Mom. Y'all not understanding what I'm saying for real. He blocked an attack from Big Mom. This means that if Chopper is able to react to an attack, he has Big Mom attack level defense at his disposal. Not to mention, he performed this feat without any casualties, implying he could defend against even greater than that. And this all nicely leads to hacks. He has multiple transformations at his disposal, those being Walk Point, Brain Point, Heavy Point, Guard Point, Horn Point, Kung Fu Point, very OP by the way, Jumping Point, Arm Point, and Monster Point. Each of these being a boost in attributes. And he can maneuver around these easily. Why this was important? Well, we'll go over that later. So with all that said, we can go ahead and scale Katakuri now. Katakuri is a very cool character to me, so let's give him justice for his scaling. For strength, he is not to be underestimated. He's literally stated to be a superior version of beginning of fight Luffy in strength. It's emphasized even more when we see him literally copy Luffy's attacks, make them bigger and stronger, overpowering Luffy on multiple occasions. This is the same Luffy who could easily destroy crackers from an 800 million berry man. This isn't even counting his buzz cut mochi, which literally made Luffy scream out in pain and further his exhaustion. But later in the fight, Luffy and Base is acknowledged as Katakuri's equal. For speed, it's kinda complicated. When Katakuri is on guard or actually utilizing his amazing observation haki, he is no slouch. At the beginning of his fight with Luffy, going back to the statement again, he literally states he outclasses Luffy in speed. I mean, up until this point, we've literally never seen Luffy get stopped out of a blitz attack with Gear 2. I literally do not remember any showcase of that level of speed against Luffy himself. To prove his utter dominance in speed to Luffy even further, he was so much faster than him that he could literally look into the future, see where Luffy's slow ass attacks were headed, and shape his body around it, making Luffy literally think he's a Logia. Now at the beginning of this section, I said when Katakuri is on guard and using observation haki. As to why I said that, I'll tell you right now. When Katakuri gets mad at Luffy for seeing his face and interrupting his donut time, Katakuri has his observation haki turned off. As a result of this, Base fatigued Luffy, who literally almost died just now, kicks this dude in the chin. So what this means is that Katakuri without his observation haki is literally base fatigue Whole Cake Island Luffy level in speed. Even worse, with the right battle IQ, you can tag this bum. I mean, look at Luffy do it here. But moving to durability, this is just bad. Okay, saying this again, Katakuri gets kicked in the chin by base fatigue Whole Cake Island Luffy and bleeds out buckets. He then gets hit with 2 Gear 4 attacks and is literally struggling to get up. Even worse, in a cover story, Okay. Oven punches Katakuri in the face and Katakuri is bleeding out rivers. Oven and base fatigued Whole Cake Island Luffy can bypass this guy's durability. But honestly, we can't really hold it against him because he isn't a tanking type. He would much rather just use his speed to overwhelm and delete his opponent quickly and efficiently. That is, if his opponent isn't relative to him in speed or blatantly faster than him. But some hope is there, as when Katakuri can react to your attack, he will guard using armament haki and 2 arms. This doesn't change it that well, but you know, he's trying, I guess. But all that said, we're led to hacks. Katakuri has a wide variety of hacks in fact. He has armament haki, observation haki that he trained to the highest level, being future sight. He also has conqueror's haki, but he can't code it yet. He has a devil fruit that allows him to turn into mochi. He awakened it, allowing him to turn the area around him to mochi as well. Regarding his haki and devil fruit, if he's exponentially faster than his opponent, like I said earlier, he can use his future sight to literally predict where your attacks are coming from, form his body around it, and continue doing it accordingly. But with all that said, I've scaled both fighters. So now, let's see what would happen if they were to come to blows. For this battle, it'll take place in a circus. The reason why is something you guys have to figure out. Like I said before, this will go twice with 2 versions of Chopper. We'll start with Speedster Chopper, and the second fight will be Observation Haki Killer's Chopper. Same rules as always, whoever dies or gets knocked out first loses. So let's go and simulate the fight. Play that music. So the fight starts and Chopper disappears. I mean, didn't you expect this? Chopper was able to Perception Blitz Queen, someone who could easily perceive Luffy and his attacks in Udon. Mind you, this Luffy is a healed up version of the one that Katakuri acknowledged as an equal. Not to mention the fact that Luffy was still able to tag Katakuri. So this means that with relative ease and brain point, Chopper could easily Perception Blitz Katakuri. future sight not even being a factor as it can be bypassed by anyone superior enough in speed. And again, this is brain point Chopper. He can literally get faster with jump point or kung fu point. I also hope you guys remember that in brain point, Chopper can literally scan you and find the perfect weak point on your body. So Chopper can easily perception blitz Katakuri and scan for the weak point. Then enter arm point, kung fu point, or monster point if he wants to, and literally one-shot him. I say this because Queen is bleeding off of a non-named attack slap from monster point, making it stronger than Sanji's named attacks, who easily scales above Oven, who can damage Katakuri with a non-named base attack. But that's if we give Chopper insane speed, so let's go and simulate the second fight. Replay that song. So the fight starts and Katakuri is utterly shocked. He can't read the future. This is because Chopper has deleted that from his arsenal. So Katakuri has to fight with his speed without observation haki. My fault, I almost laughed. Y'all remember how slow he is, bro. And so they fight. Chopper has the upper hand in speed, as we've seen him react to Big Mom's attacks, Queen's attacks, and still easily bypass Samurai perception. With his upper hand, he can easily deal damage. But I can't really put his speed that high above Katakuri, so Katakuri can hit him, but Chopper can react. That's the thing. Chopper can react to Katakuri's attack. This means Chopper can enter guard point where he literally has defense that easily tanks Big Mom's attacks. So Katakuri's bum ass attacks aren't doing anything. With that in mind, again, brain point scan, arm point, or monster point, finish. Damn, that mochi is pounded. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just really wanted to talk about my favorite character Katakuri a little bit more, and I hope this video came out well. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.